Test? Hello? Anybody home? I tell you, my internet. Any banana breads going on? Any whatever? Nothing? Nobody here? I dropped 120 frames. Already. Restart chat. Der Chat spinnt. Der Chat is spinning! Even this chat here is... Wait, can we reset everything here? So apparently... I restarted my chat, guys, so... Not connected to Twitch chat, so... Your chat on stream is frozen. Yeah, I don't see anything on the stream chat. Restart. I see it on my other thing. So Doom said something, Sagat said something. I don't see it on screen. Guess we have to deal with that. There we go, we see Selt. I tell you guys. Suddenly internet gone for fuck, do I know how long it was. Oh well. Let's get back to business. Paul Amsel, a com file. The audio is all here, but it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on the screen. Bachmeier. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speakers, filling the room. Out when here. What's your status? Bachmeier's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted her on the U-Bahn, just like we said. Probably on her way to her job. As per your instructions, we're gonna try to take her out on her way back. She'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo too, but only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Costman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. Dog with the nightmare face nods. Send me a comm when the job is done. Out when out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scabbard friend makes an appearance. Elanarae, I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Feuerschwinge is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating at him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face, Ortwin. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I've been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough that evidence pertains to our scabbard friend. You might recall that I said I would dig into Ortwin's skin grafts. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It is a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. That was an orc, I think. Amsel pulls open my father's computer, a medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scabbard friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once, what do they say? Well, they are rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Mustermann, the local equivalent of John Doe. But they do cover his injuries in great detail. Ortwin's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained 3rd-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damningly of all, he has suffered from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterwards remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I would like to hear everything that comes to mind. Outron might have spent some time in the SOX. That radiation poisoning didn't happen on its own. Agreed, 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how I would have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the SOX. Alright, so Outron was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the SOX. What else does this tell you? Well, those burns sound like dragon fire, but if the fire wing burned Outron, why would he be working for her now? I don't think that Outron is working for the fire wing. I believe that he is serving her. On Green Winter's second DVD, he mentioned that there is a cult within the SOX that worships the fire wing, the disciples of the cleaning fire. I believe that Outron belongs to this cult. What difference would that make? In my experience as Zealot, it is unlikely to shed his allegiance to his goddess, even if that loyalty comes at a great personal cost. So it is possible that Outron is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we have uncovered. Did any other red flags jump at you? The hospital couldn't ID Outron. Either somebody covered his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Outron was a denizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Amsel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory at any rate. So to sum up, Outron has probably spent time in the SOX. 6,000 millisievert or 6 sievert are 100% deadly. After that dose, more radiation just shortens the time. It's possible that he even lived there as a member of Feuerschwinger's dragon cult, and he is after you. Amsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Claire. We need to do it fast. Agreed. Good. Then that's all the more reason to get Alice's fee as quickly as possible. There's a buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA. And, as luck would have it, Frau Müller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, Elanarae. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. First, I need to talk with my other people. Inbox for new messages. Salvage DVD. The screen flickers to life and Malit's face appears. From the shifting background and ambient noise, it's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Oi, Elanarae. Just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside the DVD player, you will find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all of the files on it, but I think that you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope though. They are all badly damaged and suffering from discord besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. The message ends and image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. Payback is sweet. The screen flickers to life and Maxime's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favorite Poly Club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you would want to share in the good news, and thanks for your help back there. I don't think we've made it out of there without you. He raises his hand in salute. Take care, Elanarae. The message ends and the image fades. Thanks. Alexander to Elanarae. Hey Elanarae, Uncle Dietrich told me that I could message you here, so I figured that I should. He probably told you that I'm living in Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different, I'll give it that much. I like that I don't get pressure to hurt people here, so that's good. And nobody smacks me around, even though I can tell a lot of the orcs and trolls want to. I do get yelled at a lot and called a lot of names, but I guess that making me feel bad about that kind of thing is all part of the plan. Life kind of sucks right now, but at least nobody's going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will, I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly want to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanist compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have. But you didn't, and I'm really glad about that. Thanks. Go back. Open Jobs Directory. Claim payment for the MK6 prototype extraction. Please admit the job is finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. Herr Schmidt to Elanarae. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said that we wanted a prototype, it should have gone without saying that we wanted it intact and operational. You technically fulfill the terms of our agreement, so you will get paid, but don't ever expect to work for us again, Schmidt. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox, the payment details. Payment from client, 25,500. Deductions for crew salary, minus 6,000. Ammunition and resupply cost, minus 1,500. Automatic deduction for added funds, 11,250. Remainder sent to Elanarae's account, 3,750. What crew salary? Like my crew? I thought we were like all buddies. Oh well. What's the Shadowrun BBS going on? Topics. Ooh. Massacre Schattennest Schoolhouse. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how the local news have been spinning it. Truth is, the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago, was being used as a humanist recruitment and training complex. You're kidding me! A friend of mine was going there after class, and he said it was just a community center. I know none of you are fans of humanis, but the entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw humanis for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve this. Good riddance to those assholes. Streets are a little safer now that they're all buried. Went trolling on the humanist board and that place was totally wiped out. Volker Stahl was in charge of the chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of dreck. Just got offered a job to geek one of humanist lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead and the power struggle is already underway. You're taking the job? Not my kind of work, but I gave the Johnson an address to one of your Twix dead-ad drops. Cheers, mate. Just finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is humanists did not want to pay for services rendered, and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. So the muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the new one back. Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. Even if your friend did get screwed out of a bit of Newen, I don't think humanists would even be worth the bullets, especially that many of them. Formula 17. So we all seen this one floating around the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy duty corp written all over it. Not a lot of players could be behind something like this. Ares or SK, or maybe one of the big pharma corps, say Sharing or AGC. Of course, you can never totally discount the Aussies either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top-shelf dreck. Whispers from the shadows say that it is sourced straight from the F-state. Hello boys, I'm a big fan, you know, long-time reader, first-time poster. Quite an interesting concoction you have there. I'm just itching to cook some up. So many interesting properties to play with. I've already got a few tweaks in my mind for my own special version 2.0. You sure that you want to do that? This stuff doesn't play nice and corps are really bad at sharing their toys. You can of course always share the secrets for them. Just gotta make sure that you run a little faster than them. Always running, SCV? Like clockwork. Bandit, I'm touched by your concern, but don't you worry about little old me. I do declare this shall ever be such fun. Safety F-state. The time rises up against the corporations is now. Fight for a free Berlin. You just fall out of a time warp? The war is over and we won. How to imagine Berlin any freer? Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F-state, we are all at risk. We must act! Corps are good for business in keeping their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? How naive to think they will stay there forever. Don't you see that they are taking the freedom we all hold so dear? Plans are being made across the F-state. With the shadow community on our side, we shall prevail. The F-state has its own way dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here, we've got bills to pay. Scheiße! What a thrill! Had to do a simple data steal on the escape branch office. Turned into an OK Corral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive that fast in my life. Had a decker offside running damage control, managed to distract the second team to a different building while we jacked the car. The first team came in. Lesson learned. Simple when it comes to SK means something else. You stole the corpse response vehicle? Don't they have trackers on those things? Of course they do. Dumped it off the side of the road with a primed grenade in the back seat just to be safe. Nice one! Bragging about a nearly failed one on SK? Is it worth them paying a decker to backtrace your Shadowrun account? Any idea what valuable data they were hiding at the branch office? No idea. Money was too good to take any chances with it. Safely delivered it and the transfer cleared. Okay. Post-pay data for sale. Let's talk with Glory Hole. Elanarae, good to see you. How are things with you? You know what, I'm happy. Actually, for the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. Are you ready to tell me about that chrome you're sporting? Be patient, Elanarae, the explanation for that is coming. A look of unease flits across her face. I'm not sure that you're going to like it though. You need the time and I gave you time. Are you ready to talk about Feuerstelle yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled, more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memories she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been looking forward to this. But yeah, it's time. Elanarae, look, I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that. And if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her question grim. So tell me, are you sure that you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think that we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Elanarae. Thanks for being a friend. So when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Feuerstelle. Martha and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a peer level. Best guess I would say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well built, with a neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair, and there was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this warm, magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Martha, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. After that we wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough we were. For a girl of 17 it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Feuerstelle would be the local point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power of the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fist or my own childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the Horned God, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my latent abilities right away and offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I've heard of the Horned God. His followers have a pure reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputation that might have gained is well deserved, but there was more to it than that, as you will see. Hang with me, Elanarae. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his Horned God, and though it learned power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years I lived at Feuerstelle as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction I shared with all of the girls in the commune. including my beloved Martha. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Also, fun fact about those years, I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I came to learn that Harrow's horned god was not the Eichenfürst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with thorns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? The devil? In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary, but yeah, same being, more or less. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Feuerstelle was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. I knew that through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing, because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritters might have helped playing to my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated a church with evil, so the opposite of that, I figured, had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I disagree with you, Glory. I don't think that any of this was your fault. Harrow is the one who deserves the blame. And what if he was indoctrinated into service of the adversary when he was my age? Would he not be at fault anymore either? Oh, Elanarae. Harrow certainly deserves some of the blame for what I became. Maybe even most of it, but personal responsibility has to come into the equation somewhere. I made my own choices and they were horrible ones. I have accepted that. You should too. Chloe pauses for a moment to collect herself. She looks haggard and her pale cheeks are flushed blood red. She swallows hard and presses forward. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Yeah, Chloe is human, with chrome extensions. Over the years that I was at Feuerstelle, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Martha and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Kreuzritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I would be back. I wandered at my folks' house sometimes around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I would long since learn to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did his bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames swelling up in the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream and I broke into hysterics, I heard the adversary laugh. At that moment I realized it was laughing at me. Saw that coming? I'm so sorry, Chloe. Chloe nods. A grim expression on a delicate face. Thanks. We are almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever had been pulled. All at once the bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant at the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who would willingly tie her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do, so I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Feuerstelle, and I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back in the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all of the commune's resources and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers. The biggest obstacle that I faced was during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied to your own soul? Let me guess, snip snip? The haunted looks in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street dog I could find, pointed at all of the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that I was asking for was old and efficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me that I would be shredding my essence, and that once it was gone I would never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, Elanarae. You've heard the tale. You know why I'm the way I am. You know the things I've done, how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now I need to be alone. Okay. Interesting. Elanarae? Do you trust me, Iger? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally she nods. Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. I haven't always agreed with your decisions, Elanarae, but you've proven you're competent. It's only fair for me to acknowledge this. And tell me what happened to your team. This again? Why do you even care, Elanarae? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you would still be with them, and a good leader places a priority on knowing her team. She slowly nods. Alright, I tell you. I suppose that you deserve to know. What happened to us was Hoffman. He was a rookie. The kid of some big money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, and he made it through KSK training. So he was technically qualified to join that team, but he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him an assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our next squad mate, despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flash forward a few weeks. We were closing in on one of the Russians' major trafficking operations. They have been using a series of warehouses 50 miles from the border as a staging area for the convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When the convoys came, they would be crammed into cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go to any brothel along the border and have a look around. Chances are you will find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob has been smuggling them for over decades. But we were in a position to derail the operation, and we weren't going to let our new addition slow us down. We hit them by surprise, and we hit them hard. Fisher and Brown managed to take down the Banshee that they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead, providing battle tech feeds to the rest of us, and we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, and we had cover and concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. They might as well have been fighting ghosts. And Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position. After that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first. The thought of it will haunt me for the rest of our days. An explosion, a choked scream, and then this long, drawn-out gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details, Elanarae. Suffice it has to say that my team was wiped out. Iger's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well in her eyes. I watched Metzger die. With a visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself. Had to drag myself back across the Oder ice line into Germany. I almost died. So that's the story. My KSK career died with the rest of the team. Our mission was illegal after all, off the books. There was no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks in the eye, her tone is impassive. Did I tell you everything you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied now? Yes, thank you, Iger. So tell me, what's the takeaway from my tale of woe? I figure that you've got to have one. When Monica died, you blamed me because I was new to the team, but I'm not Hoffman, Iger. Yeah, I know that. And you are right. To a point, I might have plunged you too harshly because of Hoffman. But everything else that I said was justified. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision, made for the wrong reasons. I stand by that assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk, and you've grown, Elanarae. You weren't the wise choice to lead before, I still believe that. But you are now. Thanks, Iger. Good talk. Until next time. Aww, she likes me. I mean, I kind of have to agree with her. Hey, let's give the rookie the leader decision. Okay. What's new? I'm curious, Dietrich. Why did you switch from fronting a band to running the shadows? Honestly, working the stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting and screaming at the world was fine and good when I was a kid, but it just didn't do it for me anymore. The Dragon Slayer wanted me to fight a real enemy. So I left the band behind and I turned to the shadows. My growing process includes an glory in the middle of the fight. That's where she likes to be. She's like, and everyone is happy. Considering those events, I would say that you're not wrong about that. Yeah, I guess not. Feels kind of daunting, truth be told. But it's exciting, all the same. I've been looking for a worthy adversary for a while now. It's kind of satisfying having a white whale to chase. How long have you been looking for a real enemy? Not too long, ever since I took down the last one. The last one? Of course, I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself if I follow the Creator or the Moon Maiden. But the Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. Hiya, Waterblade. If I'm not drinking, I'm fighting. And if I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for a bigger, better fight to get in next time. Dietrich produces a flask from his jacket pocket and raised it in salute. It's a remarkably simple code to live by. Who was this last one? Gang boss, a great big orcish bastard called the Wildschwein. Led the local chapter of the Horde. I would had my sights set on him and for a while. They would hurt a lot of people, and I figured they would pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that, but I took him out in the end. Dietrich, when does this pattern end? Well, boss, the way I figured it will end when I pick a fight that I can't win. Might be this one, maybe the next. It will be hard to top a great dragon. But that's the way the Dragon Slayer wants it, and who I am to refuse him. That's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, you've got other things to do, I'm sure. Thanks, Dietrich. Dante! You look down to see a pair of bright eyes with a scruffy face looking back at you. Dante, Monica's old dog. Oh, intelligence and sadness. I pet him. Woof! Load the second DVD. Green Winters appears on the screen. Perhaps the video reads 2054, 1111. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Feuerschwinge, so I thought I would open up my things a bit. Let's see what the rumor mill has to say. The screen jumps and Winters reappears in a different location. He is now clutching a mug of Soykef in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening. Assuming that any of it was true, that is. So for the past 5 hours I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theory related to dragons and the SOX. As a reminder, the SOX in an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off back in 2008 after the Cattenom-Gau reactor meltdown. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumors floating around about the place. I've heard stories about a walled city in there that operates on the survival of the fittest, kill or be killed basis. Sort of like a nightmare version of Berlin. All of the anarchy, but none of the stability that the F-States provides. The radiation poisoning, cancer and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot Feuerschwinge down, she crashed into the SOX. That much is well known. What isn't as well known are all of the modern day muse that have arisen about her since, and tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat, and it's a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. Oh, I didn't actually watch this yet, but the other guy told me as if I had actually watched it. Hello. Anyways. Apparently this cultist worships some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Feuerschwinge, or it could be nothing, but it's worth sticking to all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular room in the SOX in Feuerschwinge's astral form was, I guess you would say, mutated by all of that background radiation. Some of the glowpunks out there say that she'd shed her body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped, doomed to languish as an intact radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be, but then she could also be a one-of-the-mill glowpunk. Or maybe she's just yanking my chain and she's never been into the SOX at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought. Anyway, I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon is. But it's interesting all the same. Now the big question is, will any of this get me any closer to fighting Adrian? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, but you never can tell. Okay, track 2. The screen goes black for a moment. The green Winters appears on the screen. The time of the video reads 2054, 11:12. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue the Firewing. But he was driven off, some say killed, by Lofwyr and Nebelherr. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Great that Samuel's not here. Who is Lofwyr and Nebelherr? I don't know. Oh, the Shadowrun person. Let's check what the internet has to say. Nebelherr. Nebelherr. Shadowrun. Also Dragon. The Dragon Nebelherr. Okay. And Lofwyr is also Dragon. Winters grabs a thick leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger, begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First, there's the Golden Worm Lofwyr, the CEO of Sada Krupp, and quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lofwyr's a local boy, so he would be in a position to help Feuerschwinge. He certainly has the financial capability to help here. He could send a small army into this SOX if he wanted to. So he's definitely got the means, but I can't see how he would have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewing's rescue back in 2012 after all. Same thing is true for Nebelherr, so let's scratch them both of them off the list. He flips the page frowning. We've got Aiden, the Great Zirush. He's operating out of Turkey. By all accounts, he's not a fan of Lofwyr. They are actively competing for territory in the Middle East. So I suppose it could be considered motive. Reviving the Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm. But would he risk a war with Sada Krupp by straying onto Lofwyr's territory? Again, I don't think it's likely. He turns another page. There's Saladir out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Trans's Neuronet, so he's got the money. But he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Transis is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the SOX. Flip. Dunkelzahn out in the UCAS. He pauses, shakes his head, and he slams the tone shut. No, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am. The Firewing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together, they have us to exploit. While the track does load, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with meaningless stream of text. The file is partially garbled. You can recognize a few words here and there, but they are intersped amidst a solid block of corrupted text. Vauclair, still my big bro. Still searching for Firewing. I swear to Nen, I will find you. It's the last. Not getting any close. Swear to new research. Turning up. Don't know who. Okay. This first quarter screen is filled with a meaningless assortment of ASCII characters. I'm pretty sure there's something interesting in there if you decipher it or so. The screen goes black and the same digital sound that you heard in the Dragonfall DVD plays again. A crackle of the static fills the air, followed by the same no familiar tranquil whine. A few moments later the display goes live. Oh. Vauclair looks haggard, his eyes are heavily badged and bloodshot, and his hair is mussed. He holds a cigarette in an unsteady hand. Hermie, it's me, I can't sleep. I don't know where you are, or having fun out there, maybe flirting with one of those unattainable beauties that you are always chasing. He tries on a smile, but it quickly disappears. He takes a drag on his cigarette. That's good, I want you to live a pleasant, normal life. After all, one of us should. Vauclair wipes his eyes. I can still smell the smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep, I can hear the sirens and the screams. There is no sound in this world as horrible as a burn victim's screams. My doctors would call this PTSD, I'm sure. They would have me therapy, maybe dose me up on SSRIs, like they do to our veteran soldiers. He chuckles and takes another drag. Quite a story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer, Adrien Vauclair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. He shakes his head. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a great reputation to live up to, however poorly deserved it is, and however little I want it. He pauses, stops out his cigarette. The dragon is still alive for me, of that I'm certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep through the night. I check the DVD. Load the third DVD. I don't care that the Frau Müller is waiting in the cafeteria for me. Fuck her. The display goes blank for a moment, then the face of Green Winter swings onto the screen. The times on the video reads 2042-0805. That's early. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled Dragon Slayer or the big-time CEO of Deal Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He's 15 years older than me, in a way. He was more like a parent than a brother. Winter pauses, his gaze drops on an invisible point on the table in front of him. So, I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Our parents took us out on the island of Poel to enjoy the beach. I must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It would be his last family vacation with us. A little later, he would begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother. And when I fell out of a little paddle boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I will love you forever for that. And I will find you. I owe you that much. The display goes blank for a moment, then the face of Green Winter swings onto the screen. The timestamp on the video reads 2049-0606. Found an old news article that mentioned Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finanzwesen, one of those chic print-based mags that they produced for the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in there, but it's good to see someone else acknowledge his existence. He clicks an off-screen button and the image of Winters disappears. It's replaced by a digital scan of a magazine page. SK stock suffers in post-buyout brain drain. November 12, 2039. In the aftermath of the Dragon Lothios hostile takeover of Sada Group Schwerindustriegesellschaft (SKI), a continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry about company shareholders. The company's stock took a major hit when Lothio deposed former CEO Wilhelmina Graf Benoit last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within the SKI empire continued to empty as the Dragon consolidates his power base. The most recent casualties of Lothio's takeover include Alexander Kobayashi, former CEO of Sade Munitions, Matteo Stona, former treasurer of Ruhr Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of Deal Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Vauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back onto the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian Samir 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. While the sector's load is clearly corrupted, the screen fills with a meaningless stream of text. It all looks similar. What? While the sector's load is clearly corrupted, a rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. Dr. Vauclair, 2034-09-10. It is my sad duty to inform you that by unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position as CEO of Deal Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to personal agenda cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during your pursuit of the Dragon Feuerschwinge must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and an unjustified drain on company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there's anything more that we could do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Ah, interesting. So, let's talk with Mrs. Miller. Can I... Fuck. Hey, you big troll. Gonna walk out of the way, please? Thanks. Frau Müller! As you press your way forward through the cozy, smoke-filled confines of Café Quesuet, you catch the sight of Frau Müller. She appears as Amsel described her, an impressive-looking woman of Aztlana descent, with coffee-colored skin and dark, wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from expensive-looking suit to tastefully understated makeup. She's obviously nervous, but she's holding it well. She looks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. Elanarae, I presume? Herr Amsel told me that I could meet you here. He wasn't lying. He said that you had a job for me. She holds her silence for a moment and nods. Yes, I do. In truth, I'm in desperate need of your help. Well, tell me what you need, Frau Müller. She offers you a small smile. An assumed named, obviously. But I've been told that this is how your people do business. Müller is a really common name in Germany. So it's yeah, a really common name. A lot of people are called Müller. Or Meyer. She straightens in her seat and twice on her smile. It hangs there for a second and fades away, she sighs. From my accent, you've no doubt inferred that I'm Aztlana. Further, you may have guessed who I work for. At Technology, I would assume? She nods. I've been with the company for over a decade. In that time, I've worked on all manner of projects. From the innocuous to the obscene, my hands have touched it all. Never once did I question the wisdom of our research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employers. I kept my nose down, worked hard, excelled at the task set before me. They must love you there. No more than any other employee, but my commitment and work ethic were recognized, and I ascended the corporate ladder fairly quickly. Which brings me to where I am today. Last month I was transferred here from my home in Titlan. They told me that an employee of my caliber was needed in Berlin, and that I would be working on a project with wide-reaching applications. The only other detail I was given was the name of the project. Bloodline. Catchy. She looks in the eye, and for the first time you can see the cracks in her composure. She's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down, this woman is terrified. I've seen many terrible things in my life, Elanarae. In Tenochtitlan, blood magic is commonplace. Take a moment to imagine what that means. In the underground markets, people are bought and sold as chattel. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all of these things by the age of 12. Seeing such things, it changes you, makes you numb. But what I found when I arrived here was worse. This project horrifies me in another way, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. She shakes her head. The less that you know, the better for both of us. You will just have to trust me on that. You need only know that it is evil, and it is not a word that I use lightly. If you won't tell me what this Bloodline is, how do you expect me to stop it? Simple. She leans and looks you in the eye. I want you to bring the building down. The computers, the research data, the mages and scientists that are working to bring about this abomination. I want all of them burnt to ash and buried in rubble. No compromises and no exceptions. I'm sure that you have unanswered questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I've spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people, but I do know that you're the only ones who can get this done. So tell me, Elanarae, is there anything more that you need to hear from me, or are you ready to make a decision? What about any innocent people in the building? None of us are innocent, Elanarae. But if you need to solve your conscience, rest assured that at the hour of your approach, the only person authorized to be on the site will be security and senior members of the research team. And I assure you, neither are innocent on this matter. If the Bloodline project reaches completion, nobody will be safe ever again. This sounds like hyperbole, I know, but it isn't. The Bloodline project will lead to countless deaths. I am certain enough of this to hire you, despite the fact that doing so will probably cost me my own life. I'm not a demolitions expert, Frau Müller. How do you expect me to level a building? You don't need to be. All that you need that you will need is a competent decker. The facility is powered by a number of on-site generators. There are safeguards in place to prevent them from overloading. In the event of a power spike, the system is designed to shut itself down. But I know how you can disable those safeguards. Once the generators begin to overload, you will have a limited time to reach a safe distance. The explosion will be quite catastrophic. What can you tell me about building security? Expected to be tight. In addition to the standard security team, Axe Technology has taken out a night errant high threat response team contract to protect the building. Corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting a competitor for emergency response services. That should give you some indication as to the uniqueness of this project. At any rate, I believe that I've come up with a solution to the night errant problem. I'll discuss the matter with your Herr Amsel if you decide to take the job. Paul Amsel is my representative on these matters. Why couldn't you tell all of this to him? I had to meet you in person, to look into your eyes and see the woman behind the name. Now that I have done so, I'm sure you are the one that I need. Naturally, I said any further information. That's no compensation. 36,000 nuyen, as I told you, Herr Amsel. That's what I have allocated for the job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework, Elanarae. I've reached the decisions. Yes, and? I'll take the job. Her face visibly brightens. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell you how relieved I am, Elanarae. Thank you for helping me to bring this nightmare to an end. I will iron out the remaining details with your Herr Amsel. He'll want to talk this over with you anyway, I'm sure. You're a good woman, Elanarae. You are saving more lives than you know. I'm pretty sure we'll find interesting stuff on the way there. Luca Duer. Who are you? So you're Elanarae, eh? The late Monica Schaefer's replacement. He looks you up and down and nods. Good, you look the part. Let me get right to business. My organization would like to retain your services for the indefinite future. But first we're asking you to go on a trial run, an audition of sorts, that proves that you're the right woman for the job. Assuming that you complete this trial to our satisfaction, I will then offer you a variety of simple tasks. All of these should be achievable in the course of your everyday business. You won't need to go out of your way to expose yourself to much unnecessary risk. For each task that you complete, you will be rewarded handsomely, and there will be a bonus if you finish them all. So, have I piqued your interest? Will you accept the offer? Who do you work for? How did you know where to find me? My organization knows everything worth knowing in Germany, including the small pond that is Berlin. It is our best interest, however, to remain unknown to the world at large. For the time being, that is all you need to know. What does this audition pay? I can offer you 1,500 Nuin, but only if you complete the full audition. The run and post-one interview to our satisfaction. If you fail to perform to our expectations, you will receive no pay and further offers to work. That isn't much. It's an audition. The purpose of this trial is for you to prove your worth to us, not the other way around. Of course, you're free to decline if you wish, but know that there are hundreds of runners in Berlin who would kill the opportunity to work for us. We came to you because we think that we see a glimmer of potential. If you prove us wrong, we will happily take our offer elsewhere. Sure, I'm in. Good. Very good. Now on to the task at hand. There's a man named Ailshire. He's a senior manager at Hermes Eurocom, and a respected figure in this community. My organization also expects him of working with pro-corporate extremists. These people are actively working to undermine the Flux state and pave the way for corporate-controlled Berlin. My organization has no more desire to see Berlin fall to the corporations than you do. However, we are hesitant to act on our suspicions without proof. This is where you keep in. Want me to beat the proof out of him? I like your initiative, but no, nothing so crude as that. You will meet with a team that I've arranged for you, and with their assistance you will plant surveillance devices in his apartment. Take the U-Bahn to Frankfurter Tor and go alone. The rest of your team will meet you there. Hang on a second, I already have a team. You do, yes, but they are unsuitable for this job. Remember, this is a test of your abilities, not Eiger's or Glory's or Dietrich. How do you know their names? The same way that I know yours. You knew yours. You will complete this trial with the team that I have assembled, or not at all. It's important for us to know that you're willing to work with these limitations. I will work with your team. Very good. The moment that you board the train to Frankfurter Tor, your test will begin. I would advise you to bring what you need in terms of medical supplies and ordnance. Once you embark on the trial run, there will be no turning back. After you have plotted the devices and verified that they work, come back to me. There will be a brief interview or post-mortem on the run if you like. And assuming that I'm satisfied with what I hear, I will pay you your first stipend. Then we will discuss our future options. Best of luck, Elanarae. We will be watching. We are the watchers on the wall. Ah. God, fuck, this game is so much to read. Holy shit. It's like blah 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 all the fucking time. Show me your inventory. Adept combat vest, occult robes. Nothing here. Shadow. Anyone that enters takes 10% damage. Haste. I'm not really big into spirit summoning. It makes great white noise. I can deal with that. That's totally fine with me, being white noise. So... I could use my willpower a little bit. So, I want the Hellstorm Barrier. I don't get any new thing for that. I get a new etiquette at 10, which is quite far away. Another one at 12. Let's increase our spell casting a bit. that yet. Okay, that sounds good. Confirm. Let's see what spells I can buy. Spells. I need high intelligence for that. Mana Bolt. It pierces up to 2 armor. That's not bad. Heal Wound. I take that. Armor. Target gains armor. That's not bad. Dispel Magic. Distraction. Lasts for 1 round. I think I will take the Flamethrower. A Stun Ball. Confirm. I'm not really using... Well, I can get Haste out. I can get the Quiet Bomb out. Get this instead. That sounds good. I like the spell setup. Confirm. Can I sell you stuff? I want to sell the Quiet Bomb, the Haste. I don't think that anybody needs the Mossberg, so... And I should switch out the fire wave with the other wave. Now then again, reducing the enemy AP is not bad. I think I will keep with that. Let's do the optionals. I can't save. Really? Yes, I can. Can I donate some money to them? How's Alexander doing? He is adjusting with difficulty. Samuel shakes his head. Your friend Dietrich took a chance in sending his nephew to us. I will do my best to justify his faith in me. I don't talk about organization. Are you accepting donations? Yes, meine Freundin. We are now ready to open up donations once again. Thanks to your kind assistance, the shelter is now fully stocked with blankets and space heaters, and we've enough rice, salt and barley to last through the winter. But guaranteeing the physical well-being of the Kreuzbusser needy is only a part of the equation. We must see to the mental well-being as well. Our next goal is to fully stock the library. With 350 new yen, we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Yeah. I've got you covered. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, meine Freundin. Not a big deal, Sam. Do good with it. Marvelous. Truly marvelous. With this contribution, we have reached our second goal. We will put this money to use stocking the library with a full range of literature, philosophy, poetry, and training manuals. Thank you again for your help, Elanarae. You've made a tremendous difference to this community. Happy to help? You're accepting donations? The new library is a marvelous, Elanarae. You have worked miracles for this organization. Our next goal is to purchase a set of throat nets for our new working training program. I have high hopes for this plan, Elanarae. With these devices, we could teach job skills to the least educated members of our society in a fraction of the time that it would take them to learn on their own. With 400 yuan, we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Here, just take what you need. I've got you covered. This is incredibly generous. I can scarcely believe it. With this donation, we have met our penultimate goal. I will send a volunteer to the data haven to acquire the throat nets. In the meantime, I will make the happy announcement to our guests. Thank you again, Elanarae. You will never know how important you've been to the people I serve. Are you accepting donations? The work program has been a rousing success. At this point, we only have one more goal in mind to round the year. I've been in negotiations with Herrn Buragazi to lease another building in the Kreuzbazaar. The construction is much more modern and sturdy than our old shelter. Our people would be better protected there. In addition, the extra floor space would open up a host of new options for our organization. One other thing, Elanarae, if we reach this goal, I would like to name the building after you. You are, after all, our primary benefactor. With 500 new yen, we could make the purchase. Yeah, sure. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, meine Freundin. Do good with it. I don't know what to say, Elanarae. With this donation, we have reached our final goal. I will speak with Borgagazi immediately and provide him his down payment. The Elanarae Civic Center will stand as a monument to your generosity and care. Thank you once again. You have been a godsend to the poor of the Kreuzbazaar. Me is back. One kitten is safe. The drunk peasant started to mow the grassland. What is with the second kitten? The Elanarae Civic Center. It has a nice ring to it. I'm happy that you are pleased. You've more than earned it. Are you accepting donations? Thank you, friend, but no. We have grown as much as I'm comfortable with for 1 year, and you have done quite enough already. Know that you've positively impacted lives of a great many Kreuzbazaar residents. Be proud of that fact. Okay. I still have over 2,000 new yen, so... Second kitten is missing in action. No! It will be back. Therefore the Frankfurter Tor to meet Luca Zuert's team. Let's see what's going on there. As the U-Bahn hums forward to the Frankfurter Tor, you tug idly at the fabric of your maintenance uniform. You found it in a duffel bag on your seat when you boarded, along with a note from Duer to put it on before your arrival. The moment you step off this train, the note said, your trial run begins. You are to rendezvous with the rest of your team. Reconnoiter the building and plant the specified devices in Aleshire's suit. Beyond that, your approach will be left to you. Do not disappoint us, you are being watched. Hello. As you emerge from the dingy confines of the U-Bahn terminal and step into the light of day, you find yourself confronted by a wall of muscle in a knight-errant uniform. What is maintenance? It isn't a question. He stands impassively waiting for a response. Yes, sir. Have you seen any other maintenance guys around here? Yeah, they've been trickling in over the last 15 minutes or so. I've already done a security check on your entire crew. Everything checked out, so you're good to head on into the building whenever you want. Remind me, what does the rest of my crew look like again? Thanks for your time. Have a good one. A young dwarf looks up at you, wide-eyed with apprehension. From the way that she's fidgeting, you can tell that she's terrified. She bites her lower lip, eyes darting from side to side. Finally, she takes a step toward you. Hello. Are you Miss Elanarae? I take it you are on my maintenance crew? Yeah, I am. My name is Jana. She tries on a smile, but falls away almost immediately. You sound nervous. Are you sure that you're up to this? I'll be okay. But I have some bad news for you. Our teammates sort of jumped the gun a little. They are already inside. Well, I guess I can't fault enthusiasm. Wait, that's just great. The dwarf wrings her hands. I'm sorry, I told them to wait, but they didn't listen. They just muscled on past me and waltzed through the front door. Alright, calm down. I see that you have a toolbox. Are you a rigger or something? Oh, I have to make sure I pronounce the R properly. Rigger! She swallows. Okay, that was fast. Well, no. I'm not like you, or not like the others. You should probably know that. Then what are you like? A normal person with a boyfriend and a cat and a shitty apartment. I'm not a career criminal, is what I'm saying. I'm just an electrician. If you're not a Shadowrunner, what are you doing on this crew? Her face flushes red. I would rather not talk about it. Let's just say that someone did me a favor once, and that coming along on this thing is how I have to pay it back. Look, in the end it doesn't matter. I have to be on this one and you have to bring me along. It's what they want. Alright, fine. You come along, but stay out of the line of fire. You got me? She nods eagerly. Gladly. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't even want to be here. That makes two of us. When did our teammates abandon you? About 10 minutes ago. I watched them storm through the front doors of the building we are going to hit. Son of a bitch. They'll still be on the first floor. Nobody's getting upstairs until I bypass security locks on the elevator. That's why I decided to wait for you out here. I figured that they couldn't get too far ahead of us if I didn't go inside with them. Good thinking. Thanks. I just hope that they don't screw things up in there. All that I want is to get this thing over with and get back home. Right there with you. Let's head inside. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. I'm not a criminal. I have to ask you, dwarf. Are you a nigger? What? What? Who said that? I meant rigger, of course. It's so cute how the dwarf runs. It's like me, 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 me. Wait for me. As you step through the door, you find yourself confronted by a pair of men wearing the same kind of uniform that you are. Judging by their expressions, there's no love lost between the two. Hearing the door swing open, they turn to face you. The shorter of the two, a human with arcane symbols, tastefully embossed into a spell, glares at you. You are here, finally, and you've brought our little mouse of an electrician with you. Better late than never, but not much better. You're tardy enough as it is. He jerks his thumb at the elf standing beside him. I'll leave it to you to keep our pack mule in line. The elf's lips curl into a snarl. Hanging from his back is a bulging pack that looks incredibly heavy. His broad shoulders sag under the weight of whatever's inside. He's dumb as a post, but he can lift heavy things. Might not be bad in a fight either. At the very least, he can soak up a few bullets for the rest of us. Staring daggers at the mage, he spits out a long string of foreign words in a single, susurrant breath. The sound of it is lovely, but his expression leaves little doubt that the message behind the words is an ugly one. Oh, and I hope you can speak Phariseel. He shakes his head in disgust. Damned useless immigrants. Did I hear you right? Did you really say that I was tardy? I mean, what are you going to do? Send me to detention? Wonderful, late and a smartass. He glances down his chronometer. I have an important meeting in a few hours, so let's get to the penthouse and plant the cameras. I'll mask them against detection, and then we can all go our separate ways. The elf mutters something under his breath and hitches the bulky pack up a little higher on his back. His muscles bulge under the strain of it. Are you sure that a friend here only speaks Phariseel? To my immense disappointment, yes. A Ternigle dialect by the sound of it. I wish that he would do us all a favor and go back. Address the elf. Can you understand me at all, brother? The elf's dialect is completely foreign. It's quite unlike the form of Phariseel spoken by the elves of Tirna. He only managed to catch a few words. You terrible insolence of sweeting, see if at all. So Lucas sent me in here with a civilian, an asshole, and a guy who doesn't speak German. Wonderful. Your words don't seem to have much impact. The elf's goals deepens. I get a distinct impression that none of you actually want to be here, but we've got a job to do, so you're all gonna have to suck it up and deal. The mage leers at you. Wonderful pep talk. Really, really magnificent. I can see why you were placed in charge of this one. Now can we please get moving? I don't have all day. We know, you have a meeting. I can get us into Alishire's apartment, but there are a few things that we need to do first. If you can get me to a building access panel that's on the same circle as the penthouse, I should be able to put its security system into maintenance mode. The job will take some creative rewiring. Well, that and whatever in that packet the elf is carrying. Our employers gave me the schematics. And do you know where we'll find that access panel, Mouse? Quit calling me that! She takes a moment to calm herself. Yes, I do. There's an access panel in one of the mid-range apartments on the same floor. My contact gave me a keycode that should get us in. You've said should twice already. That makes me feel uneasy. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. It's the plan that I was given and we are stuck with it. Unless you have a better idea, we'll just have to follow our instructions and hope for the best. She turns to face you. Get me to a building access terminal on this floor, and I can rewire the elevator. That's the first thing that we need to do. Once we are upstairs, we use the code I was given. I rewire Alishire's security system, and we hide the cameras in his apartment. Well, that's the theory anyways. Alright then, let's go. Stressed suit. Let's talk with him, why not? He doesn't want to talk with me. Even though he's a speech bubble. Ah. The well-dressed orc stops his pacing to stare at you as you approach. Heavy, very lines etch his forehead and his eyes are bloodshot. He looks like he hasn't slept in a month. I don't want to be rude, but I'm a little busy right now. If this is about building maintenance, take it someplace else. James' cheek flushed red. He takes a step forward. Watch it! You don't get to talk to me like... The orc whistles. Like a janitor? Yes, I do, because that's what you are. If you want to keep wearing that uniform, you'd better watch the attitude. Now, isn't there a floor that you could be cleaning or something? I've got a lot of mind to worry about. Important things. I don't want to be bothered. You think that just because we are in maintenance, we don't understand what you're going through? I have 621 bees to fall before the day is out, and if I don't, I can kiss my efficiency bonus goodbye. With a visible effort, he calls himself. Look, sorry, I'm not trying to be unpleasant. It's just that I have a huge presentation to give to the board in 20 minutes. I stayed up all night practicing it, and now I'm so tired that I can't even remember my own name. That's rough. He shakes his head miserably. I'm going to botch this, and the worst part is most of those bastards will assume that it's because I'm an orc. They already make jokes behind my back, and after this it's gonna get a lot worse. That's tough, man. Best of luck. He scolds and continues his pace. Aww. Poor orky. A boutique food kiosk. The sign out front advertises a variety of locally sourced foodstuffs, all of them terribly overpriced. Take a closer look at the food on offer. Glancing in the self-serve refrigerated section of the kiosk, you'll find a variety of sandwiches wrapped in slick plastic. You could eat for a week for the price of one of these things. Step away. Oh, we don't do safe scumming. The tailor. The saleswoman's expression brightens at the approach. Welcome to Dunkley's Fine Clothes here. Are you shopping for a suit? A fashionable business suit made of ballistic cloth catches your eye. It would be a simple matter to slide it on your baggy maintenance overalls. Let me see that suit. A good choice, style and safety. You have a good eye. She takes your arm. Here, let me show you to a dressing room. Grants +2 charisma. 5 armor. That's not bad. I take that. Ha! That's what I'm wearing. YOLO! Game? No, thanks. Jana studies the junction box for a moment and turns to face you. See that guard in the hallway? Well, he was standing next to a junction box, just like this one. Looks like they are both on the same circuit too. So I could use this one to overload the one that the guard is standing by. She looks at the junction box again and nods. Yes, I could feed a nice power spike into that one from here. You know, if you wanted me to. What would that do? Make a loud bang and arc enough voltage into that hallway to knock out a gang of trolls. Alright, fry him. Whoopsie daisy. Well, you just killed a man. I hope you're proud of yourself. Nur für Mitarbeiter. Wordlessly, Jana pops an access panel at the base of the terminal and begins snipping wires. A few minutes later, she places the panel's cover and stands. Alright, that should do it. I've bypassed the security lock on the elevator. We are good to head on upstairs. That was quick. I know my way around electrical systems. My father used to own rental properties all over Munich, and I helped him maintain them. She smiles shyly. I've been reviving buildings since I was a little girl. Touching. I don't know what this has to do with getting me to my meeting, but please, by all means, keep waltzing down memory lane. We'll wait. Are you ever not a dick? If you make me miss my meeting, you will see exactly how much of a dick I can be. You're supposed to be our leader, so pull your head out of your ass and lead us. Preferably in an upstairs direction, so that we can get done with this before security catches us. Gosh. I may accidentally summon a fire spirit to fry your ass. I hope you know that. Alright. I'm gonna need you to get me on to this 4 access panel. That will be in room 303 on this floor. The door combination is 14291. Make sure to write that down. Yeah, I've got it. Okay, once I'm there I can put the penthouse store in maintenance mode. I will set its key code combination to 111111. So we shouldn't have any trouble getting it in to plant the cameras. We've been making halfway decent time. Not good, but not terrible. But I can't afford any more delays. He cracks his knuckles. I hope that no one else gets in our way, for their own sake. You aren't hurting anyone unless I order you to. You got that? The mage lips curls with a sneer. Yeah, I heard you. If I weren't under instructions to follow your lead, this would be a very different conversation. Yeah, well, you are, and so shut up and deal with it. She shakes her head in disgust. God, I wish that we didn't need you to finish this job. His lip curls into a sneer. Sadly for all of us, you do. Oh, and by the way, we are going to have words when this one is over, mouse. A stream of caustic syllables pours out of the elf's mouth. His back is stooped over the weight of his pack, but his hands have clenched into fists. He rolls his eyes and points at a bony finger at the elf. Look, it's trying to speak. I want to get this over with, Elanarae. I want to get away from these people and go home. Three oh three. Where art thou? What? 302. Leave the panel. That must be 303. No. I would have assigned this midget to me. I didn't choose her by myself. So the code was 14291. One, 4, 2, 9, 1. Welcome, homeowner. Anything I can steal? That's a giant teddy bear. That's kind of creepy. Moving the painting aside, you find a large maintenance access panel. Jana steps forward, a slight frown on her face. Okay, I guess that this is me. She pulls a multi-tool from her belt and uses it to loosen the bolts that hold the panel in place. Pulling a schematic on a PDA, she examines the terminal's wiring. Hurry up, woman, the clock is ticking. Don't rush me, this is complicated. Popping the lid on her toolbox, she grabs a pair of wire clippers, a soldering gun and a wall of electrical tape. With a look of grim determination on her face, she begins to snip onto a massive harness of cable that runs through the unit. Alright, she taps the elf on the knee, I'm gonna need that thing now. He nods and reaches back to unsling his pack. Placing it on the floor, he opens it and pulls out a large blue canister. It takes all of his strength to wrestle it up from the ground and into the space in the access panel that Jana has cleared. There you go, you dumb box. Do something useful for a change. The elf says nothing. Unburdened by the heavy pack, he stands up straight. And for the first time you appreciate how much larger he is than the corporate mage. He stares down at James and his hands bunch into fists. Stay cool, man, we're almost done. If the elf understands, he shows no sign of it. He continues to stare James down and the mage continues to ignore him. Pale out in pace, Jaina goes back to work. It only takes a few minutes for her to screw wire and solder the canister into the harness. She inspects her work, nods and turns to face you. He stands and brushes the hair out of her eyes. Alright, job's done. Just need to do a bit of cleanup and we can get out of here. That's it? She taps the screen of her PDA. According to this, yes. The penthouse security system should be inactive. Let's move them. To hell with the cleanup. We'll be gone before anyone notices anyways. Just a second. What was that canister that you put into the terminal? Beats me. For all I know, it could be full of pixie dust. They said that I had to wire it into the wall at this junction, so I did. I'm not comfortable with how little we know about this one. The mage sneers. You haven't been doing this long, have you? The lodge doesn't tell you things that you don't need to know and you don't ask. Your job is to do what they tell you. Take the money, keep your mouth shut about it afterwards. It's all very simple. The lodge? The mage's eyes widen incredulously. You don't even know who you're working for, do you? You're leading this team and you don't have a clue. Jana eyes cuts her eyes wide. Both of you, shut up! Someone's coming! A tall, spray-tanned man in an expensive suit rounds the corner at a jog and comes busting into the room. He stops short when he sees your team. His eyes flick from you to the panel that Jaina pried from the wall, and a smile falls from his face. What the hell? This is my apartment, I own it. What are you doing in here? We are maintenance, look at the uniforms. Yeah, I see that, but you can't be in here without my consent, and you sure as hell can't go tearing up my walls without giving me advance notice. James shoots up in an irritated glance. This is a waste of time and I'm already running late. If you don't take care of this idiot, I will. The elf barks something out at James. The sound is uncharacteristically ugly. All harsh consonants and sibilant hisses. Let's keep calm, everyone. This is a simple misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass. Your friend just called me an idiot in my own home. He whistles from James, his hands balled into fists. I want to know your employee number and I want it now. The mage raises an eyebrow, smiling. Do you? Now? I'm a member of the Homeowners Association for this level. You know what that means? I have a lot of pull with building management. He thrusts an outstretched finger at James. Your days wearing that uniform are numbered, I promise you that. Calm down, sir. There must be a problem at dispatch. You should have received a work order last week. I didn't receive a thing from dispatch, or from anyone else for that matter. My wife and I are entertaining guests here in an hour and a half, and our living room is ruined. I need to know what you're doing to fix this, and that you will clean the place back up, and that you will put a new coat of wax on the floor. I need... The hell with it, I don't have time for this. His hand twists into claws and he raises them high. An instant later they are wreathed in an unnatural purple glow. James, stand down! We do not need to kill this man! The glow intensifies in a scintillate torrent of light. The emergency lances and steps out of James' hooked fingers as if it were alive. The magnetic doorway recoils in alarm, and his palm slips down on the plastic disc that has been clipped to his belt. Too late, you recognize the object, a panic button. The air fills with the cacophonous wail of screaming alarms. James jerks back, his concentration broken. From down the hall you can distantly hear the sound of heavy footsteps approaching at a run. Meanwhile the homeowner backpedals, trying to put a wall between himself and James. He's moving too slowly, much too slowly.